JL Financial Solutions. If you're an Albertan looking to plan your financial future, you want someone you can trust. Together with Sun Life's estate and financial planning services, JL Financial Solutions will develop a plan you can be confident in to grow and protect your wealth. Give Jonathan Lambert and his team a call at 780-733-0910. Hey, what's going on, folks? Welcome to Got Your Back, Off Night Edition. We are live streaming on Twitter and on YouTube, and for the next, 60, 70 minutes, we're going to talk all things Oilers, Florida Panthers setting up game number 6. Rob Brown, Jason Strudwick are both standing by. Going to hop in here in just a moment, and simply Steve Taylor, manning the controls back in Kelowna. I'm coming at you from our long shot studio out here in Sherwood Park. All Oiler game nights during the playoffs. All you can eat wings. $25 a person. Check out Long Shots in Sherwood Park. Great destination for some golf, for some fun. Bring some coworkers. And all you can eat wings, $25. Will there be one or will there be two more of those game nights? As always, this show is proudly presented by our title sponsor, Sherwood Buick GMC. I have the pleasure of cruising around town in a Sierra 1500 elevation dynamite truck. Go see Phil and the fabulous staff at Sherwood Buick GMC just off Baseline Road on the way into Sherwood Park. And they got a great deal on the 1500s. Best deal in town, $450 a month, 24 months at 4.9% financing. Tell them that Got Your Back sent you and get yourself all hooked up. All right, let's say hello to the gentlemen, Rob Brown and Jason Strudwick. How are we doing, guys? Everybody who golfed on the off day today, raise your hand. Raise your hand. Brownie, Strud?
I didn't.
Strud? No.
I didn't. I can't golf till the off season. I was Mr. Intensity, staying ready.
Don't be that loser. It's just not time. It's not time yet. There's more games to be played. We can't talk golf.
How was your swing, Shogger? Was it how many times are you going to hear about your sore back between now and the end of this?
I wasn't going to bring it up, but since you asked, actually, I'm doing okay. Actually doing pretty good, Struddy. For a 16-hour travel day yesterday, I was worried what it might be like today. But I'm not going to lie to you, bud. It's pretty solid off the tee today. Brownie, how were you?
I was very good. I just going back to 16 hours. Where did you come from? Did you stop in Mexico City on your way home from Florida? 16-hour.
Buddy, I'm telling you. And I know that fans don't give a crap about the media's travel, so I won't go on and on about it. But bottom line, the way you get home from there, Parker and I met in front of our hotel at 8 a.m. Edmonton time, and I walked through the door at 12:15 in the morning. That's how long it took to get home.
That's a long day.
Yeah, buddy. It's the travel in this series it's nuts. I mean, it's nuts for the players, but for the media flying commercial, it's bizarre too.
Well, I did read an article. I think it was Bettman put it out earlier that the reason they do have the extra day off in between games is for the media, more so than for the players. They didn't want the media having to cover the games, being a little fatigued and tired. So they extended the series for the media. That was nice of them.
What happened? I thought the media was going to get a plane. I thought the NHL was going to get the media a plane.
Yeah, no.
Hot talk.
So they ended up getting a plane, but only for certain people. So so there's a few NHL.com staff on it, bunch of Sportsnet staff. I think some ESPN crews on there, bunch of the crew, right? The people that have to do a lot of work late into the night in the buildings and that sort of thing. So there is a charter. Bottom line, Parker and I are so far down the totem pole that Brownie, you have a better chance of hopping on that charter back to Florida if there's a game 7 than I do.
Well, it's funny. I got sent a text from I don't even know most of the numbers in it today. These people that are starting to plan a charter to Florida on Sunday for game 7. And
are you serious?
So, yeah, it was weird. Just like, here's when we're going, here's the times, how much it's going to cost.
How much is it going to cost? Can I get in on it? What day are they leaving?
They are going on Sunday.
Oh no, we got to leave Saturday. If you can get them to leave Saturday, then I'm in.
Okay, I will talk to that group that I don't know anyone really in the group, but I will say, hey, someone just sent it to me.
Yeah.
And that's so there's an excitement apparently in Edmonton right now
Struds,
about
you-
the next
If
few days.
if there's a 7, Struds, you got to come. You got to book a flight and come. Hey, buds, come on. Let's
No,
we
I
got you
honestly
back down there.
I have a few commitments I can't get away from. Right, I
Oh
just can't. I can't commit to something, say and then just not do it anymore. People are looking forward to me being at these events.
Oh, but though, just think about you on TV, Game 7, waving your lime green rally scarf.
They probably wouldn't let me to the state of Florida. That thing's so powerful.
They could like hand it across all the fans like they do the big Canadian flag, right? Just
An
hand that
entire
rally
row.
scarf. Yeah.
An entire row will hold on to it at the same time.
As I said before, we are live on YouTube and on Twitter. We got Wayne Watson, our good friend, chiming in from the Gore Bantford golf tournament. Says that he missed both myself and Brownie today. Yeah, I was supposed to go this year, but I'm working a little late into the season. Brownie, you've been out there for that tournament before. It's a gooder, I hear.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's a long day.
Yeah.
It's a long day, but it is a fun day. And the gentlemen and ladies that go to that know how to have a fun time. It's and then they always put on Gordon and his friends put on a concert and stuff. It is a really good time, and they raise a ton of money, so it is fun.
That's awesome. Well, maybe next year, Wayne. We'll see. We'll see where the Oilers end up. But yeah, sounds like it was a good time. Okay, just gonna lay out the podcast here real quick, guys. So first segment here, we're gonna break down everything that we saw practice today. Line combinations. We'll dig into previewing Game 6 tomorrow night. Obviously, it's a monster. Everybody is so fired up. This whole flipping town is just on edge, on fire. So excited right now. It's going to be amazing. So we'll dig into that. The other conversation that we can't put it off any longer. We've been trying to put it off, but July 1st is too close. The draft is too close. So in our second segment tonight, we are going to indulge a little bit in the Leon Draisaitl conversation. Whenever this series ends, after 6 or after 7, that is going to become priority number 1 and a big topic. So we are going to indulge in that conversation a little bit in our second segment and what the future looks like for Draisaitl, the Oilers. As you know, they've got a general manager's job they got to fill as well. So we're going to dig into that a little bit. And then we've got, of course, Brownie Points and Struddy's World, and take a lap and ask us anything, and we'll get a full pod in tonight. So looking forward to it. But right now, let's get to previewing tomorrow night's game and our breakdown, brought to you by Adrenaline Diesel, Edmonton's heavy-duty diesel truck repair shop. They perform services from oil changes to engine swaps, overhauls, modified engine work as well. The crew over there at Adrenaline are there to get your truck or trailer in great shape, like it's right out of the factory. Drop in or check them out online at adrenalinediesel.ca. That's adrenalinediesel.ca. Okay, guys, where shall we start? So, full skate down at Oilers today. And what was notable to me, gentlemen, it was all hands on deck. Everybody was out there. Everybody was taking part. I'm talking Darnell Nurse taking full part. I'm talking Evander Kane skating on the 5th extra line, but taking all the line rushes, taking full part in it. He looks like he's pushing. Everybody was out there, and I don't know, Struds. It's I know fans don't like how late this series is gone, but I can't help but think that all these extra days between games and how this thing is stretched out, like the Oilers to me look like they've been able to get healthier during this series.
There's no doubt. I mean, having that time in between helps. And let's be clear, this travel is brutal. It's absolutely brutal. Like it's the length of the travel, but it's also that time change. I mean, I know people don't want to hear it, but 2 hours is hard. You can't fall asleep that easy all the time. So yeah, it's gone long. There's no doubt about it. But here we are. But getting healthy, maybe a healthier playoff makes for more intense games, because guys are, or not more intense, but more guys being able to do more because they're more rested and being more physical. So I haven't really had a major problem with it. And I think we're getting treated to good hockey. You could argue the last game, Brownie, is the best game of the whole series.
Oh, I agree. And I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it, the length of it and how many days are between games, but you are getting better quality of hockey because the players have more chance to rest. What you also have an advantage of is for a team like Edmonton that plays its star players so much. Connor and Leon, I mean, they're not playing again for 3 days. So let's play them 24, 25, 26, whatever we need minutes. As for the practice, though, Schauger, to me, it's two things. One, the stretch between the games, the extra day, they want to be on the ice. They want to get things loose, feel good about themselves. But also, there's something special going on here right now with this team. And if they're to come back and force Game 7, and who knows, win a Stanley Cup, they don't want it to end. So every opportunity they can be as a team, be it in a practice, they're going to take every advantage to just be as a group, because they all want to be part of this. And I think that's part of why you saw everyone out there today, is they understand what they're doing is special, and they just don't want it to end.
So Evander Kane looks to me like he's pushing. So in Florida, he went out and skated with the extras. I'll take you through the sequence of events. The last time we saw him on the ice, he was out there by himself with a stack of pucks, trying to take snapshots, wincing in pain, hobbling around, has a 5-minute on the ice meeting with Chris Knobloch, skates off the ice, and he gone. Did not see him again for a couple of days. Then in Florida, he skates with the extras, and he's out there and he's all smiles, and he's skating pretty hard and he's working hard. And it was kind of like, oh, we all took note. Now today on the ice, he's out with the main group for the first time, taking line rushes with the fifth line, Carrick and Gagne as well. And he looked good. He was skating well. He was shooting the puck well. He was jovial. He was having a good time. My sense on what I'm seeing is this is a guy who's trying to illustrate that he's getting close, if not ready. So I guess my question to you, Brownie, is, and I asked Chris Knobloch today, and he didn't answer it. He just said, look, we have conversations to have. We have options. If Evander Kane is ready to go, what percentage do you need him to be at to just say you got to drop him into the lineup because he's Evander Kane? Like, at what point does he just go?
Well, he's got to be at a percentage that when he plays to that percentage, he's better than the guy you're taking out. If it's Corey Perry, well, is Evander Kane at 70% better than Corey Perry at 100? And if you believe so, then you make the change. But if you don't think so, I mean, the problem for Evander Kane is the team, when he left, the team that's been put in there has won back-to-back games.
Yeah.
So Corey Perry actually had a very good impact on the last game. Scored a big goal.
Look, Derek Ryan. I think it would be Derek Ryan.
Well, Derek Ryan, but then you'd have to change who plays center on the third or fourth line. Do you have as much faith?
Problem.
Yes, you have as much faith in. So all of a sudden, the fourth line's out there. There's an icing by mistake. You go back to your own zone. Ryan McLeod is now your centerman. The Florida Panthers send out Barkov's line. Do you have faith that McLeod is going to get it done? And if you don't, well, then you can't make that move.
Struds, where are you at on it?
Yeah, McLeod's a winger. They're gonna. I don't think we'll see him at center again here. For this. Well, there's 2 more games potentially. It's really tricky because they're happy with what Derek Ryan brings at center, and I think their centers are comfortable with all 4. You take out Derek Ryan and put in Evander Kane, you've got now question marks. You know, who's the center of that fourth line? So I don't think you can take out Corey Perry, Connor Brown, Janmark aren't coming out.
Yeah, listen.
No. Is it McLeod?
It's Derek Ryan or it's Ryan McLeod. That's it for me. Anything else to me would be nuts. I don't think you're touching Corey Perry at this point.
No, you're not.
So, I mean, now McLeod has put some goals in recently too here. Mm-hmm. But if Evander Kane if he's healthy or closer to being healthy, you're not dropping him into your top 6. You're dropping him on the fourth line left wing spot, let's say. You probably got to consider it, don't you? Because of who he is and what he can bring. Maybe for Game 7, if there's a Game 7.
Well, yeah, but then you're taking out someone that's just been on a team that won 3 straight. Do you change a lineup that just won 3 straight and battle 2 of them and battled back into this series?
But Brownie, by that logic, you could lose Game 7 with a healthy Evander Kane ready to go because you chose to play Ryan McLeod instead. Ryan
McLeod, who scored a couple goals here in the games that they needed to win.
Yeah. Struds?
Yeah, Kane, he has to show me he can skate. Okay. If I'm the coach, he's got to be able to skate and get up and down the ice. Can he have one good game for you? Maybe you save him for Game 7. Say, bud, we're going to hold you off. And if he's practiced on the fifth line, I have a hard time envisioning he's going to be in the game tomorrow. That's just how usually you kind of practice with your line mates. I know that there's secrecy and stuff, but in the playoffs, but I just have a hard time thinking he's going to jump up there. So we're probably at a Game 7 conversation.
I would normally agree with you, Struds, but here's what I'll say about that. His first skate with the entire group, and there would probably be like, go hard, push it. They'll evaluate after, see how it went, talk to the doctors, figure out where he's at. You wouldn't want to muck up the lines trying Evander Kane out in a full practice. You would practice him on an extra line, then you'd evaluate after the fact, figure out what you're dealing with percentage-wise before you go ahead and make that decision. So I think they would have gathered that information, probably had the conversation. I agree. It feels unlikely that he'll go tomorrow. It does. But if he doesn't go tomorrow, he's now, how long has it been since his last game? And what percentage is he at? And it's really interesting, the decision they're going to have to make here, fellas. Like this, Chris Knobloch had to make tough calls all playoffs long, leaving a healthy Evander Kane on the bench for a game 7 for a cup. That would be, I don't know, Brownie. I don't know, buddy.
No, I agree. I understand what you're saying. It just, I don't know. He'd have to be 100%. And I don't think he won't be 100%.
Yeah.
He just can't be. He wasn't, you're not playing in a game a week ago and then a week later you're 100%. This is a lingering injury. He's pushing to play in it. Obviously, his team has a chance to win a Stanley Cup. You want to be on the ice when the final buzzer goes. You don't want to be one of those guys coming out of the dressing room. So, yeah, he's pushing. And a healthy Evander Kane makes any team better.
Let's get to the Weiss Johnson Soundbox. Dennis and the team at Weiss Johnson are going to give away a free 16-SEER air conditioner when the Oilers win the Cup. Enter now at weiss-johnson.com. Hit the contact us button. Tell them who your favorite Oiler is, and you'll be entered into a draw to win a brand new air conditioner from Weiss Johnson. That's if the Oilers win it all. It'll be a great giveaway, so check it out at weiss-johnson.com. Jingle.
Weiss Johnson,
So we're talking about these options they have. Who should come in? Who should come out? Evander Kane. Bottom line, the Oilers have depth. They have options. They've got usable players in and out of the lineup. Chris Knobloch with a bit of a nod to his boss today when talking about the options available to him and the depth of this team. Here's Chris.
Each series, each game, we're looking for different aspects where we're trying to match lines or add a little more physicality, more speed, or puck play, or we need a penalty killer, whatever the situation is. We've been able to maneuver our lines a little bit, our lineup, and that's it starts with Ken Holland putting our roster together, knowing exactly what our team needs. The trade deadline was going on, weeks prior to it, and we had conversations on what do you need, what do you like, what do you think we're missing. I threw out some ideas that I had, but I think Ken, obviously going through it for so many years, knew exactly what we needed, and he took my advice a little bit, but he was one who really knew what we needed and addressed those. So,
yep, they definitely have options. They definitely do. Mm-hmm. Quaddy on the YouTube stream here says, if Kane is in the bottom 6, I'd rather not have him in. He's not defensively sound. And with Perry, it's double trouble. So he wants Corey Perry to stay in there. Kane hasn't done as Jack. This lineup has chemistry. If I was Knobber, I'd leave him out. But I'm not Knobber, says Chief Andy. So a little bit of back and forth there on the YouTube stream. Big picture here, guys. Struds, I heard the narrative a fair amount, not from the Oilers, not from anybody there, but a lot of people felt like if the Oilers could win Game 5, this is what we heard from a lot of people. If they win 5, this thing's going 7, right? Everybody thought, so many people were saying, just win that hard game in Florida, and there's no way the Oilers are going to win on home ice. I'm here to tell you, this sets up like the trap game of all trap games if anybody lets themselves start thinking that way, because the Florida Panthers are here for a reason, Struds, and they are not going to go quietly tomorrow night. I expect it to be the Oilers' toughest test. What do you think?
Yeah, I think two things. One, I just don't think that the home ice, it does help, but Florida knows how to play. This is their second trip to the Stanley Cup in 2 years, so I don't get too excited about it. The second thing is that, we're talking about all the things the Oilers have learned this year, the bad start, second last, firing the coach, working through all that. Florida's up 3-0 this series, and they've now been twice they've lost. Twice they've been kicked in the junk. So they're learning as well. They've also grown. They're learning what's going on and how it is to win and what it feels like to play in Edmonton. This will be their third game in Edmonton in a pretty crazy environment. So they know these things, but they've learned. They've had a chance to come to grips with where they're at and what is in front of them. 2 chances to win the Stanley Cup. So yeah, this is going to be a really hard game. I think whoever wins, either let's say the Oilers win this next game, that last game is going to be an absolute battle. The next 2 are going to be complete battles. So I just think I would not just count out Florida because it's in Edmonton, Brownie.
Yeah, and I wouldn't call it a trap game. To me, a trap game is when you play against the Vegas Golden Knights, and then 2 games later you have a game against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and you're looking forward to them, and you overlook the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah,
this is an Oiler team that's playing against the Florida Panthers in Game 6 of the finals, and if they win it, they get to go to Game 7. So I don't see it as a trap game. I think the Oilers. I think the Oilers understand the importance of this game. It allows them to continue their season. The one thing that I've seen with this team over the number of years I've been here, their leadership group, it doesn't let you have an off night. It pushes you. And right now, Connor McDavid, he has had incredible seasons here, incredible moments. I don't know if he's played better than he has in the last 2 games. He's on a mission. And if it means carrying an entire franchise on his back to win 2 more hockey games, he will do it. So I don't know if the Oilers will win or lose a hockey game because you could be the better team and still not win. And we've seen that happen a couple times in this series. But I do believe the Edmonton Oilers are going to have an incredible effort, as I do believe the Florida Panthers will too. It's going to be an awesome game. To me, we might have, 2 Game 7s if you're an Oiler fan, because when you get to play again, if you lose, the season's over.
Bunch of people on the YouTube stream clunking me over the head like you did, Brownie, saying I'm not using the idea of trap game properly. So I'll take the loss
clunking.
on that one.
I wasn't clunking.
No. It was loving, but people on the stream definitely are. Probably the wrong metaphor to use, I would say. Struddy's okay with that. I guess you know what I'm saying, though, just in terms of, and I don't think that the Oilers are thinking this, but I mean, I feel like Florida, well, let's listen to the head coach, because Struds, you made a great point about them learning as they're going here. Florida is here for a reason. They are as good as they are for a reason, and they're evolving just like the Oilers are. So here's Paul Maurice kind of agreeing with a lot of what Struddy said there in his answer.
We're learning how to do this and learn how to feel it. So there is, I don't know that I'm not trying to fight the word pressure. There's certainly lots of energy to be had, to be collected, and to learn how to focus that energy. And I thought we did in Game 5. I thought we got a handle on it. So we'll look forward to it.
Yep. They're going to embrace it, though they have to be grumpy having to get on that plane and come back, right? Truly were dragged back to Alberta. But he also said earlier in that press conference, they were as calm as they've been all series long. And they've earned a little bit of that through their experience being in the Stanley Cup final last year as well. Style of play-wise, Struds, we've seen some adjustments that the Oilers have made, stretching the ice out in certain ways. Do you expect Florida to, significantly adjust what they're doing? Will it be more of what we saw in the third period of the last game? Like, is there a tactical step to be taken here by the Panthers?
Well, I think at both ends, they've got to forecheck harder. They got to get up in there on that forecheck, and I think it starts with their dumps. Now, they can say, some people are saying that Skinner's a poor handler of the puck, but to me, I never wanted the goalie to stop the puck and play it. I wanted it to either die in one corner or cross side dump it into cross corner into the other side so it dies in there. Make the D-men work. I think it's too easy when you stop it. The second part is Connor McDavid, and I honestly think they have to have someone above him all the time. Don't let him get that speed up. He is destroying them right now, 2 games in a row. So, you got to play above him. When he starts building up speed, someone has to be right above him, skating with him, and at least slow him down, just so your D-man or whoever the next layer has a chance. Brownie.
Yeah, it's a good point about the dump-ins. I agree with you. There's certain goalies that you throw in every once in a while because you know that they're not as strong puck handling and they're going to make a mistake. But in all honesty, look over the course of the year with Stuart Skinner, 4 mistakes over the course of all his games that were major ones. So the odds of him making a major mistake on a dump-in Game 6 is probably minimal. So why not get your forecheck going? every team has strengths and weaknesses. And if there's something that you could take advantage of an Oiler team is by keeping them down in their own zone, creating forcing the turnovers below the goal line, getting in on your forecheck. That plays to the strength of the Florida Panthers. So yeah, I agree. They need to forecheck harder and with more consistency. It all starts with a good dump in. So to me, yeah, put it in a corner or rim it hard as you can, forcing Skinner to stay in net. And then as a defenseman, you know what it's like, Struds. You know that guy's coming. He's coming with speed, and they have a lot of players in Florida come with ill intent. So they're coming to hit you and hit you hard. The one thing I find interesting, though, is now that Lombard and Cousins both coming in, I've watched them play, and they bring energy, and they're noticeable. I believe they didn't start the series is because they also take penalties. And I think 100%. There was a fear for Paul Maurice having them in there. Yes, they can be agitators out there, but they also might take one or two dumb penalties against a good power play. So I do believe they'll bring energy, but there's always a danger, Cousins especially, of taking a silly penalty. That will certainly be a big advantage to the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, Cousins coming in is a subtle tweak. Looks like Okposo goes out. The Oiler penalty kill has been dynamite. I believe they are 15 for 16 in this series. 4, 7, 8, 10, 16. Yeah. And so a tweak that we saw last game looks like they'll continue with. They've been practicing, but Oliver Ekman-Larsson ends up on the top power play unit. He's got lots of experience over the years, Struddy, running a power play and such. So a couple subtle personnel tweaks there from Paul Maurice, but there's a lot that, can swing for Florida here. If their power play can get going a little bit, Matthew Tkachuk woke up a little bit last game, got himself going a little bit as well. So, there's room here for Florida to improve, just like there was for the Oilers when they were down.
Kel, I'm going to give 2 reasons why the Oilers fans shouldn't sleep tonight. Carter Verhaeghe and Matthew Tkachuk. Those 2 guys, Verhaeghe, I don't think you haven't noticed him at all. For what he can do. He's a scorer. And Brownie can chat on that if you want. And then the other part is Tkachuk. He woke up and he was really going well. So those 2 guys, if they get going, that's Oilers fans are talking about Leon Draisaitl, finding the back of the net, and a Hyman, I guess, up to a point. That's what they're like. Tkachuk and Verhaeghe are the Oilers, Draisaitl and Hyman. Like, they need those guys going, and if they wake up, the Oilers are going to have their hands full even more than they do already.
Well, you're right about Tkachuk. Yeah, I hadn't noticed him really in the series until last game, and I thought he was the Florida Panthers' best player by a long shot.
Yeah.
And he can change a hockey game with the way he plays with his physicality, but also he is dynamite with the puck on his stick. Verhaeghe seems to only score big goals. Florida's good. It won't be easy, and I know that. I'm in text groups with all my buddies, and yeah, if we win Game 5, you're right. Automatic, we're going to Game 7. But I don't think you can overlook a very good Florida Panther team that's capable of winning on the road. They've already won in Edmonton in this series. But what they need is 2 things. They need a power play goal if they want to win a game, and they need a bounce back from Bobrovsky. Without him playing better than he did the last 2 games, the Florida Panthers have no chance. Bobrovsky has to be better. And it's weird after Game 2 for us to be sitting here talking and saying, right now, the more confident of the goaltenders is Stuart Skinner. And that would have been funny if one of us brought that up after Game 2.
Brownie, where are you at on Leon Draisaitl?
I don't think he's been as dominant as we normally see him. Leon, there's nights that Leon is the best player in the world. There's nights that he has games that he is better than Connor. It's not as often, but there are nights that he is just absolutely dominant, and he hasn't been. He's got 2 assists in the series, both in the same game. And that's through 5 games. He's capable of more, and we know that because we've seen. So I don't know if he's completely healthy, if there's something's got him dinged up or something, but that's a thing if the Florida Panthers have to worry about. If Leon Draisaitl has a game, because we know Connor's going to bring his best game. If Leon Draisaitl brings his best game, that's a 2-headed monster that the Florida Panthers are going to struggle with.
Struds?
Yeah, Leon, really, I think if Leon has one big game, they probably win the cup. And not to put it all on him, but that's the difference that he can have in a game, right? Because, as you mentioned, either Leon or the power play, the penalty kill, or the death guys are going to get the other game done or could get the other game done. That's oversimplifying it a little bit, but that's the impact that Leon can have on a game or a series. One monster game. Like if he gets, let's say, 3 points tomorrow, the Oilers probably win. and then you're going to game 7. You don't think Connor will be ready to go, or Skinner or Hyman or Bouchard, but same thing to be said on the other side. If Verhaeghe and Tkachuk get going tomorrow night, if both of them score, that's probably a tough night for the Oilers, I'm guessing, guys.
Yeah. And I think, the question about Leon's health, I think, needs to be brought up. He's not a guy he's one of those guys that'll play through stuff. Might not even tell them about stuff. He's just built that way. But Strud's, couple of points here. He has not scored a goal in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games without a goal. He's got 1 in his last 10. And his face-off percentage, 41.2, 58, 44, 45, 47, 50, 45, 57, 40. He's not winning draws at nearly the clip he normally does. We all saw the brace on his finger. Clearly he's playing through some stuff here that has something to do with him being diminished here, Struds.
Yeah, I honestly thought there was maybe something going on with his lower body, because it doesn't feel like he has that acceleration to pull away from people. And I don't know, maybe you're trying to pick up these cues, right? Maybe he's tired, I don't know. But when you're talking about face-off lack of success like that, it makes you wonder, is there arm, shoulder, hand? I don't know, just something that, because he's usually pretty, beast mode in the face-offs. And sometimes it looks like he's even getting out-muscled on those face-offs, which to me is not a Leon Draisaitl trait, Brownie.
Yeah.
No, although I think the lack of goal scoring would indicate it more than the lack of face-off success, because he's taking face-offs against Barkov every night. So right
Fair
there,
point.
so you're not going to have as much success as you normally do. But 1 goal in 10 games, that's not Leon Draisaitl. And he is not as noticeable. And there's other parts of the game has been fine. And I know that Chris Knobloch talked about it. But when you think Leon, you think offense, you think goal scoring, and it hasn't been as good as we've seen. But the great thing is he has 2 more opportunities to put his stamp on this series. And a stamp on this series by Leon Draisaitl probably wins them a Stanley Cup, as I agree with Struds. If Leon gets going here, we already know Connor it could be big trouble for the Panthers.
Yeah, are the Panthers taking him away on that power play, that cross-seam pass in the one-time, or are the Oilers just not trying to go to it because he doesn't have the pop in the shot that's required to score from that angle, right? I'm not sure which one it is.
I don't think they would stop passing to Leon. I don't care how if he's got a broken arm, I still think.
Well, how many times has he tried that shot from down low in the last 3 games?
They still are going to go to him. If Connor can get that pass to him, he's going to go to him.
But am I wrong, Struds, or has he not really even tried it from down there?
I think Florida's doing a pretty good job taking it away. Right. I mean,
I agree too.
I think you got to give Florida credit, man. Their penalty kill is good. It's done a really. I know they were hit up twice last game, but I think they've done a really good job of taking that away. Like I said, they're pressuring far enough up out of their above their top of their zone, but still getting back to take that pass away, then keeping Connor to the outside. They've done a really good job, man. The 2 really well coached teams on the specialty teams.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get to our DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll, aiming to help you play better golf with fitting, instruction, after-sales support, merchandise, and clothing. Celebrating 25 years. What a great local company. Check out their pro shop style atmosphere. They're at 5311 99th Street. Go see Scott and Al and TJ, the whole fantastic crew down at DeBoer's, 5311 99th Street here in Edmonton. Simply Steve, we've had a significant objection from somebody on the stream. Who was it that coined Steve?
It was Taves to Kane.
Taves to Kane. So I can't find the comment. He came over the top, but basically was furious at me that I've adjusted it to Simply Steve.
Yeah, he said, I've got the quote.
I have no right to change it. Yeah.
He said, as the author and founder of Just Steve, I find Simply Steve highly disagreeable and offensive.
We gotta vote on this here, or what?
Maybe that's a poll for another day. I don't know.
Okay, sounds good. What do you got today?
Speaking of polls, okay, so tonight's poll. I just asked what the biggest X factor is for Game 6, and the options are McDavid's continued domination, Skinner staying solid between the pipes, the third line continuing to roll, or that home crowd energy. So those are your 4 options for the biggest X factor heading into Game 6.
And we'll get into those results coming up in our Ask Us Anything segment. Davin is in suggesting Simple Steve. Come on, Davin. Davin, that's not nice. It's simple. All right, that was the breakdown brought to you by Adrenaline Diesel. When we come back, let's go a little bigger picture. Let's talk a little bit about Leon Draisaitl and the upcoming potential contract extension, the negotiations, the talks. We'll dig into that for a segment, and then we got Struddy's World and Brownie Points still ahead. Tons more on the show. Stay with us. The fastest growing male grooming company on the planet just got even better. Backscape 2.0 with a revolutionary friction fit handle makes the razor easy to pop in and out to shave not only your back, but anywhere on your body. And those hard to reach spots just got even easier with the new ergonomic design. Backscape's new titanium shave head makes for a smoother, more comfortable shave that respects your skin. Backscape 2.0. Stay smooth, gentlemen.
On paper, my life looks exciting.
In reality, not so much.
Every day it's same old, same old.
Clock in, clock out.
Then I discovered Play Alberta. I can play casino games anytime.
Bet on any game.
And buy lottery tickets anywhere in Alberta. I think my spleen is ruptured.
Welcome back to Got Your Back. Time now for our takeaways brought to you by Martin Motorsports. Get ready for all your summer adventures with Martin Motorsports. One-stop shop for all the toys for your next outdoor adventure. It's a spectacular showroom filled with all the fun that you can handle. Quads, side-by-sides, boats, Sea-Doos, motorbikes, Vamoose e-bikes, and more. Their showroom packed full of machines and boats and accessories. Head on over to Martin Motorsports so you can be ready to make some memories this summer. All right, guys, we're not going to spend a ton of time on this, but because the Stanley Cup Final and free agency are sandwiched so close together, we would normally absolutely be talking about this stuff by now. And so while I know other fan wants to focus on the game tomorrow, we do have to have some of these bigger picture discussions. Two of the biggest storylines heading into this offseason are going to be Leon Draisaitl's contract extension and who the heck's going to be the general manager of this hockey club next season. So let's start on Leon Draisaitl. Here is the situation as I believe it to sit right now. So I don't believe there's been any substantive talks between Draisaitl and the Oilers about an extension. You know, I think the plan was to just sort of put it on hold and address it when the season ends, whenever that point in time is. When the season ends, those conversations will pick up very, very quickly. My sense on this is that there's an openness to talk about a long-term deal to staying in Edmonton. And I know Frank had his report last week. Lots of good stuff in there. I'm reporting what I know, reporting my information at this time. So some of it will overlap with Frank's, but of course he was on this last week as well. The one thing I want to say, guys, is that the other sense that I get is that if there is no deal to be had immediately with Leon Draisaitl, if it's a wait-and-see approach or maybe they aren't there on the numbers, my sense is there is not going to be a panic to move him, right? The idea that walking him into the final year of his contract would make a lot of people nervous because you potentially lose him for nothing, right? Tavares, New York Islanders, that kind of thing. My sense is that there isn't this incredible sense of urgency that if a deal isn't there to be had, that we're talking about a Leon Draisaitl trade at the draft or after July 1st. I think there's an openness to walking him into the final year of his deal, as long as there's some optimism that there will be a deal potentially to be had. So nothing major at this point, but discussions will pick up right away. I think there is some openness there to getting a long-term deal done, and I don't know that a trade will be imminent if there is not one. Struds?
If I'm Leon Draisaitl, I can't sign a contract till I know who the GM is. Like that's number one, because
really?
Who's going to be for sure?
Isn't it Jeff Jackson though? Like Jeff Jackson's going to run that negotiation.
Yeah, he might, but is he making all the trades? Is he evaluating players? Like all that stuff. Like I get that he has a hand in it, but I need to know who the GM is. I'm sorry, there's no way that I can do that. Then I also have to talk to my buddy Connor. So those are the two things. And listen, if they win, they might not be sober for 2 weeks. If they lose, they might not be sober for 4 weeks. So like I don't expect any of this to happen. Like I would be blown away if July 1st, Leon Draisaitl sends 8-year extension with the Edmonton Oilers. I would be absolutely floored. And man, I hope for Oilers fans I'm wrong. But those are two things. I have to talk to Connor, and I have to find out who the GM is, Brownie.
Oh, 100%. And with Leon and Connor, it's like, hey, are we both staying? Are we both going? Or what's going on?
100%.
Yeah, absolutely, 100. I mean,
100%.
Leon Draisaitl is not re-signing here unless Connor gives him a blood oath or a pinky swear that he's signing long-term here too.
Hang on, though, Brownie. Hang on about that. Like, let's dig into the mechanics of that, though.
Mm-hmm.
So Draisaitl did his interview with Speck at the beginning of the year, and he said that the two will be independent of one another.
Yep,
that it has
100%.
to be that
He's
way,
going to
right?
say that. Yep.
So, right, is that just lip service? But here's a point I will make. They're at different points in their career. They're at different points. They're hitting free agency at a different time. They're at different points in their family lives and their family situations. Connor's engaged, and is it not somewhat unfair for Connor McDavid to be put in a position to have to be willing to make some sort of commitment in any way to Leon Draisaitl about what his intentions might be in 2 seasons? That's kind of a tough, difficult position to put a guy in.
Well, it's
kind of unfair to ask. So maybe when the party clears and the fellas are sitting around, of course they're going to have a conversation. But don't these need to happen independently? Isn't it unfair to expect McDavid to be able to give, as you called it, a blood oath to Leon when making this decision?
No. I mean, if I'm Leon Draisaitl and I'm signing here for 8 years, I'm signing here if Connor's here. If Connor's blowing the city and leaving, I'm not signing here.
And you think it's fair to put that on Connor? I need an answer from you now.
Him. Well, you can ask him. Yeah, you have a conversation with him. And if Connor can't commit to it, well, that gives you kind of an idea. Does it not?
Struds, what's your take on that dynamic?
When I was 22, Zdeno Chara told me that I was going bald. And since that day, I've denied the fact that it bothers me. So I say a lot of things that don't really bother me or that I don't want people to think about. So, I would be floored again if Leon Draisaitl said, I'm just gonna do this in my own world. I'm staying in my own lane. Yes, who's the GM or whatever. I'm gonna sign it, not looking at Connor. Because you know what else? It's not just his friend. He's probably the best. Oh, he's the best player in the world. Right. So don't you think if you're Leon, you want to know who you're gonna be playing with? Like he likes Snooj, he likes Hyman, he likes Bouchard, but none of those guys are Connor McDavid. So even if I was, I don't know who's a guy that's maybe coming up. Let's say Kulak. Well, that's a bad example. CC. No, that's a bad example too. I don't really know who the examples are. There's probably no one else. Maybe Henrique. Maybe you want to know what those two guys are going to do if you're going to sign a 2 or 3 year contract, right? Because you want to know who you're playing with. You're trying to win. Leon wants to win. He's won a bunch of stuff. He's going to get paid a ton of cash, but Stanley Cups are what those guys are after. So I'm sorry. I and they're probably best. If they're not best friends, they're really close. How the hell do you not say, Bud, where's your head at?
Of course you do. I'm not saying that you don't. But if what you're looking for from Connor, no,
you just said that.
No, what I said.
You can't put that pressure on Connor. Yes, you can, because if I do, you better do it.
No, what I said was like when the party clears and it's the two of them sitting around, the last one's there, and they have their conversation as good buddies and teammates.
No, this is an after
looking,
party.
whatever, right? Well, whenever you understand
this
my
is
point.
A face-to-face sober talk. This isn't a Ryan Rishaug the 19th hole.
About it. They'll have a discussion about it, but like to expect 97 this far out to be able to be like, I'm gonna be looking for the max deal and the max term and you can confidently sign your deal knowing that in a year and a half from now or a year when it's my turn that we'll be able to
1 year. Yep.
So
1 year.
you're saying there's a lot different situations. Connor's a year away from the same decision. And listen, Connor's engaged. It's not like he has 4 kids and a mortgage he's got to worry about. Leon Draisaitl has a girlfriend who he's been with for a while. I don't know. I'm guessing they're maybe working towards the same thing as Connor. Like, they're not that different. They're both absolutely incredibly talented players. They both have and will make a ton more money, and they both want to win. I don't know what you're talking about. They're not that different. To me, it's pretty similar.
To me, they're the same. They're the same points of their career. They're what, a year apart in age. Like, if Leon Draisaitl is about to say, I'm going to commit to 8 more years here in Edmonton, he would have a conversation with Connor. And if Connor can't give him a guarantee that he's going to be here for 8 more years as well, then now as Leon, I may start to look elsewhere. Because if Connor can't say it, then I'm going to, well, then, all right, fine.
And I guess what I'm saying
I'll wait. That's what I'd say. I'll wait.
I guess what I'm saying is I'm not sure it's entirely fair to put the pressure on Connor McDavid to come up with an answer what his intentions are in order for Leon Draisaitl to be able to figure out what he's going to do long term like that. Like, I think they need to be, of course they're going to talk. Of course they're going to understand where their heads are at. But if the answer isn't just flat out yes, it needs to be done a little bit separately. It needs to be done to a degree. Leon's got to make the decision that's best for him, regardless of what down the road Connor McDavid might decide to do.
The decision that's best for him would be, okay, if Connor's not committing, okay, well, then maybe the best decision for me would be go elsewhere.
I'll just,
I think it's an awkward position. Like, hey, man, what are you doing?
Okay, as a hockey player, Struds, if I'm playing with Struds and Struds and I are good friends, I'd have no problem going up to Struds.
What if he doesn't know yet? I guess
that gives me at least a little more information.
Then he said, I'll wait. No problem, man. I'll wait. I'll wait it out. You know what, guys? I'll sign a 1-year contract. I've actually thought about that. Yeah. I'll sign a 1 year. No problem. So Connor and I finish at the same time.
Yeah. Interesting dynamic. Numbers. Let's dive into that quick before we wrap this portion of it up. I mean, you look at Austin Matthews and where he's at, and $1 million, and that's probably in and around your starting point. Like, it's 14 all day long. It's probably more, probably 14 and a half.
Let me interject here.
That range. Yeah,
I got the answer, guys. When Connor signed his contract, his first year was 15.7% of the cap. So today, 15.7 of the cap is $13.88 million. So that's pretty much, that's when Matthews, I think his starts next year, so it'll be a little bit higher, but 13.88 million. That's the same Connor signed. That was a percentage he signed. If you were to sign one today, that's the same percentage. So that's the money, how it works out.
So what are you saying for a number?
Well, I usually go off percentage. I go off percentage of the cap.
But he's signing the deal a year out.
So, but so then let's say you go to 16% of the cap. It's, what is that, about 14 million? So Connor, when he signed his big deal, he was the best. He is the best and most marketable player in the world. Yeah. When he signed, it was 15.7%.
Of the cap that year, or
of the cap that year?
Ended up being
of the cap, and now it's gone down. Now he's like 14. What is he now? He's 14.2%. So it's gone down. But when he signed it, it was 15.7%.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty high number. So is Leon going to get 16? Then Connor gets 18. Like the numbers I can't do. I can do percentage. Percentage I can handle. So it's something to think about, right? So I think Matthews is 15.1% of the cap. Something to think about.
Yeah, Brownie, what's your sense? I think it's 14.5 in that range.
What is
the starting point?
What's Matthews make?
13,250. So I did my research, guys. I came prepared for this conversation. Sorry, I don't want you guys to look bad, but I did it.
Well, Strudge, you're my Google. So anytime I need something, hey Google, how much does Matthews make? So okay, it'd be over 14 million. The thing is, the Oilers have had one of the best contracts in hockey for the last number of years with Leon Draisaitl, and they're going to pay now. And Leon's going to he'll make more than Matthews. It's that simple. And then Connor will make more than Leon. So it'll be 14, 15, 16. I don't know what it is.
So Leon, 14.5 million is 16.4% of 88 million. Right. So he'd be what is that? 7 points above points, I guess, above what Connor signed. Just again, percentage, because that's how I always look at it, right? When they signed it, what was the percentage of their cap?
Yeah.
If I was those guys, I would sign a 4-year contract because I know it's going to go up again. I'd make more money in 4 years. That's what I would do. But I'm very greedy, as you guys know.
It'll be interesting. And I wonder, like, the gap between them right now is, $4 million. I don't think we'll see that gap between them in this next set of contracts. Like, I think the gap between the two will be much closer. A couple $1 million, $1.5 million, something like that. That would be my guess, is that they need to be closer together, Brownie.
Yeah, I honestly, they're both going to make a lot of money. A lot of money. It'll be interesting though on July 1st when they start having the opportunity to negotiate whether it gets done. But it's funny though, you say that if he doesn't sign and you got to trade him, do you trade him? Would you not just keep him and use him for a playoff run? If they've got to the Stanley Cup Finals this year, and maybe they win or maybe they don't, instead of trading for something at the deadline, you already got what you're trading for. So if you don't sign him, you keep him and you make another run at because he's the second best player in the world. So it's kind of nice to have him for a Stanley Cup run, whether he walks at the end of the year or not. If your ultimate goal is to win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I think the risk Brownie's losing him for nothing, right?
Yeah. So what though?
If he's
but
I mean, not so what you could add a top 6, you could add a top 3 or 4 forward and a top 3 defenseman probably.
Yeah, but your chances of winning the Stanley Cup go down.
Right.
So if you're trying to win a Stanley Cup, why wouldn't you keep Leon Draisaitl? And if you
it's the long view versus the short view, right?
Yeah, you're also got Connor McDavid in last year of his contract. What do you don't know where he's going to go? So to me, I'm not trading Leon at all. I'm keeping him, and if he walks, he walks. But I'm giving my team the best opportunity to win a Stanley Cup, whether it's their first one or whether it's back to back.
So you go ahead, Struts.
I'll leave you with this. If they win the Stanley Cup this year, you keep him no matter what next year, because you're trying to win a second one. And then if he walks, you for sure had one cup. You're like, thanks, buddy. See you later.
Consider this, though. You walk him into free agency and he decides that he's not signing.
Yep.
Now your ability to re-sign Connor McDavid, your window opens just as Leon Draisaitl is left. Those two things happen within like a couple of days of each other. Right. Yeah. That would be the risk, as opposed to if it's clear he's not going to sign a deal, you make a trade and you have a year of, yes, but look what we have for you. Look at your fancy new top 6 winger. Look at your fancy.
But you're also going to have, if he walks, but if he walks, you've got $14 million that you're not spending on Leon Draisaitl, and you gave Connor McDavid the best possible chance to win a Stanley Cup. And as we all know, that's what Connor McDavid wants the most. So don't give me this fancy new winger. Give me Leon for another playoff run so I can win another Stanley Cup.
Yeah. And he could probably trade, like in his last year's deal, he could probably get something for Connor.
Okay, now we're just stressing people out. All right, we had to do it. Free agency is too close. The draft is too close. We took one segment and did it. We went a little bit long. We're going to speed up the process through the rest of the pod. So when we come back, Brownie Points and Struddy's World. Stay with us. Okay, heroes, are you trying to tough it out through a sports or life injury right now? Trying to prove your mettle by grinding through, gritting your teeth? Well, Redefined Health is here to say it's time to come on in. At Redefined Health, they'll high-five you for your toughness and then get to work on helping you fix the problem. Helping athletes and heroes find better balance, performance, and injury prevention. Visit redefinedhealth.com. Long Shots Golf is the destination for both golf enthusiasts and sports fans. Top-of-the-line TrackMan simulators provide a highly entertaining and accurate golf experience, while a full-service sports bar loaded with big screens and scratch kitchen make it a truly unique destination. They have locations in Sherwood Park in Edmonton. Experience the best indoor golf and sports bar in town. Visit longshots.ca. That's longshots with a Z.ca. Oh, Steve, you boxed yourself in. You boxed yourself in with the theme music. Now you can't run the Hamel's beef jerky special music.
Oh, sure I can.
You can smooth transition from one to the next. Let's see those skills, buddy. Time now for Brownie Points. There it is, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Their world-famous jerky located right here in Alberta using prime Alberta beef. Available in 14 fantastic flavors, including that amazing sweet and spicy. Great fundraising packages for sports teams and schools. And for the rest of June, $99 for 3 pounds of jerky with free shipping. So great idea for a fundraiser if you need to. And $99, 3 pounds of jerky with free shipping anywhere in Alberta. Hop onto the website, tell them Got Your Back sent you, and you will find yourself a deal. Brownie,
All right.
14.5 million brownie points to Leon Draisaitl.
Oh, I tell you what, I'm going to give him 16 million so that he stays for sure. I got all the points in the world to give away. Sure.
And 3 pounds of beef jerky.
Well, no, he'll get 2 pounds because I'm keeping a pound for myself. I'm his agent. We're going to start with 64 brownie points to the LA Kings Rob Blake, who got rid of a dead weight, PLD, as we all love to call him.
PLD.
His contract is now gone to the Washington Capitals. So it was one of the worst trades that the LA Kings Rob Blake made last year. Getting Dubois, the contract was absolutely horrifying. And one of the big reasons I believe that the LA Kings faltered so badly in the first round, but they got rid of him. They got a goaltender that they didn't have. So Rob Blake gets a thumbs up after getting 2 thumbs down. I've got 7 brownie points to the Edmonton Oilers. They are 60 minutes away from Game 7. And who would have thought that after Game 3? So 7 big brownie points to the Edmonton Oilers. I have 47 brownie points to Mr. Connor McDavid. He is 5 points away from tying Wayne Gretzky's record of 47 points in the playoffs. That is unbelievable. Seriously, we are watching magic night after night after night, and sometimes we take it for granted. But boys and girls, we are watching the greatest in the world, and right now he is playing as good as he's ever played. And the last one, it's a quick one tonight because not a lot going on in the world, but this one was added late. I got 10 brownie points to my buddy Jason Strudwick for somehow getting the words "getting kicked in the junk" onto the podcast tonight. So that made me giggle. So 10 for Struddy tonight.
Take it.
Attaboy. All right. Any objections to any of that, Struddy? Anything to add? What do you think?
No, I thought he nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. And that one thing I'll say, I'm surprised that the guy who traded for PLDB is also one that traded him away. I would have thought that there might have been a change in hands on the wheel there for Sir Roberto Blake.
Like when you look at the totality of that, acquiring PLDB and getting rid of it's not a good look. It's not good resource management. But Struds, at a certain point, you got to just cut bait on a bad mistake, right? Like it's almost a bigger sin to just keep trying to pile drive it in and making it work, as opposed to just going, we got this one wrong and pulling the pin.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he did fix an issue on their team, their goaltending, right? And he saved quite a bit of cap space. But when you look at the players he traded away to get Darcy Kemper, who was a free agent and who was not a very good goalie last year for the Washington, actually was a second string goalie. Backup, I think they call it in hockey. Pretty crazy.
All right. Right. It was three good players that the Winnipeg Jets got for Darcy Kemper. So that makes it look silly. So Rob Blake gets a thumbs up, but it's because he completely messed up with the trade and the signing of PLDB.
Struds, did you want to add any brownie points for me? Rumor has it, like we didn't do a relentless player tonight, but rumor has it you had some love for me. So maybe you just give me some brownie points instead.
I won't a lot of number, but I will say this. I was impressed by you because I heard today that, you talked about his 20-hour travel day from Florida.
16.
Someone told me they saw you golf today and you were so, you're just so intense and just wanted to get on golf. You shot 113, but didn't give up. Didn't give up the whole 18. You stayed out there. You were relentless in your pursuit of triple digits.
I actually thought that you were going to, I was actually going to be given a relentless, like a legit relentless player. I get brownie points taken away. I get made fun of in relentless player.
That tailor-made driver you put up on Twitter, that thing got abused.
You like that one? That QI10, baby. Thing was butter today off the tee. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's not what I heard. I have a source that tells me you looked rough last night. Or
really? Interesting. All right. I'd be interested to know who that is. All right. Time now for Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. They've got locations in Calgary and in Edmonton. If you're a contracting business or a contractor yourself, let DLR help you add vinyl fence to your product line. Reliable, unmatched service, high-quality North American-made products. Visit DLRvinylproducts.ca. Struddy!
Yeah, so there's a small tweak to the Florida Panthers power play unit. So they saw it at the end of the game, but Brandon Martour is now off it. He's a righty who's a very offensive player. Then you have Ulrich Millarson now jumping in, who's a lefty, and he ran the power play for a long time in Arizona. Then he ran it this year when Montour was still trying to get back from an injury early in the year. But I think it's something worth noting because a righty to a lefty, and when you oftentimes he seems to get the puck on, I guess it would be the right side, or where a normal right guy is. Now he's going to get as a lefty. It's way easier to jump to the middle of the ice. I think it'll be harder for the Oilers to take away that pass, as we saw from Connor Brown do the other night from Montour through that juicy one right through the middle, and he knocked off when and got it. But I think it'll be a little bit harder and it'll look different because, again, as he jumps off the wall, now he sticks in the middle, he can rifle it to the net. Mm-hmm. And Ulrich Larson's got a pretty good little wrister to the net. But also he can get off the wall a lot quicker and you can't cut him off. So it's worth noting. I like this change by the big guy, Paul Maurice, and lefty to or righty to a lefty, I think makes a difference on this PP Brownie for that reason.
Yeah, no, you're right. Also, Ekman Larsson's a big man and a long stick.
Yeah,
that helps when you're shooting from the point. He can change the angle, and you think you're in a shooting lane, and all of a sudden the long reach, he's past you. So he does have a good wrist shot. Montour, that was an absolutely horrific play that he made to Barkov. Good play by Connor Brown getting in the way, but that was just dumb on Montour. Their power play has not been good. I think Ekman Larsson, I thought it's funny. This is a guy that Vancouver was trying to run out of town. I thought he's played well in this series and looked good. So when things aren't working, got to try something different. Good on Maurice for doing it. But the Oilers penalty kill, just the one thing we've seen them able to do is they adapt. And they have been a difference in every single game here in the playoffs.
They make it obvious, Strez. They just want to funnel everything down. Like the angles that the Oiler forwards take when the defensemen get the puck, right? They take that angle like to try and push it, force them to push it back down the wall. And you know, when they did that, like Connor Brown did that, they tried to go through the middle anyways, and that's when he got the stick on it and ended up with the breakaway. But they seem so set and so good in trying to actually force the power play to do what they want them to do. Mm-hmm. It's not they're not reacting to what Florida does. They're extracting what they want from Florida, it almost seems.
Yeah, and Brownie, you can chime in on this because I want your thoughts. I think at times Florida would be wise, instead of trying to get to the middle, as the Oiler forward goes way to the middle, push them back, fire the puck to the net because you have a lane. Because the Oiler forward isn't in that lane now. I know there's other layers behind them. I get it, and I wasn't a power play guy, but get the puck to the net, and maybe it makes them respect your shot a little bit more, or think about trying to get a little bit more in that passing or shooting lane, which would open up maybe the passing a little bit easier.
100%. They don't shoot enough, not near enough. And the Edmonton Oilers are dictating what Florida does on their power play. And eventually the Florida Panthers bobble the puck and get attacked and they lose it. So 100%, when things aren't going, we talk about it in Edmonton, and we have the best players in the world. When things aren't going right, get the puck on net as quickly as you can. I do believe that if Florida wants to have any success, they need to shoot much, much more and shoot before the Oilers get set.
Yeah.
Shoot. And but we'll see if we go forward. It's weird that they haven't tried that yet. But they're at the point now, if their power play doesn't score, they don't win the Stanley Cup.
Before you get pushed down by that forward, fire the puck to the net. 100%. And then have that in everyone's mindset. Like, we're all going to the net, right? Mm-hmm. I think it would unsettle a little bit the D. And it seems too obvious, but maybe I'm missing something in the next layer. But I don't know. I'd feel pretty good about that play if I was Florida.
That was Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR. I'm getting a little love on the stream here as being so relentless, gentlemen. Relentless Traveler Shogger, says Leaky 37. Daniel Bryan says a 113, but didn't give up. Now that is a sick, good job, Shogger. And James Barrels coming over the top saying, if only Shoggy's hairline was as relentless as his golf game. Thank you, James.
Wow.
Appreciate that.
That's mean.
Hard shot. That's
All three of you very
Wow.
empathetic towards that
Yeah.
comment there. You guys went quickly in Shogger's defense there. All three of
that
you.
hit us all right.
Yeah,
in the
it did.
feels.
It did.
Simply Steve, just Steve. What was the comment that when we were all arguing about
man.
the ice
So
style, what happened there?
yeah, when
Somebody
it got a little
started
heated
at
between
us?
the three of you, Three Colors Trilogy said, "Oh no, Dad and Dad and Dad are fighting."
Three dads here on Got Your Back. Brownie, nice job tonight, my friend. Let's chat after tomorrow night's game, pal.
Sounds good.
All right, the great Rob Brown. Do we got a break here,
We do.
Steve, or
Yeah.
are we rolling right? Okay, quick break, and then we will take a lap and get to our Ask Us Anything segment.
The Brindley family has made it their mission to create the best tasting flavored rums on the planet, and they've knocked it out of the park with their Shipwreck rums. Brewed off the small Caribbean island of St. Kitts, their spiced rum is aged 4 years in bourbon barrels and infused with natural vanilla. Their Shipwreck vanilla is blended with natural Madagascar vanilla, giving it incredible smoothness. One sip and you'll agree, it truly is a vacation in a bottle. Available at your local liquor retailer. Please enjoy responsibly.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has been delivering a high-quality golf experience to Edmonton and area. This beautiful private club, located on Highway 21 just south of Sherwood Park, occupies 160 acres and presents a challenging yet adventurous 18-hole design. A beautiful clubhouse, fully stocked pro shop, and warm, friendly staff truly make it feel like you belong to something unique and special. Visit www.belvederegcc.com.
Spring is here, and if you're thinking of buying a new home during the housing market hot period, contacting a mortgage broker should be your first step. Maria Gallus with Maximo Mortgages can guide you with a stress-free experience. With access to dozens of different lenders, Maria's simplistic approach and expert advice will have you ready to put an offer in on your dream home. Take the stress out of your mortgage journey. Contact Maria Gallus at mortgagesbymaria.ca. That's mortgagesbymaria.ca.
Somebody's saying it's going to be a full moon tomorrow night for the game. Is that true? That in from Chief Andy. Full moon for Game 6. Oilers and Panthers. Time now for Taking a Lap, brought to you by Backscape, the fastest growing male grooming company on the planet. And it's even better now because they got this new 2.0 handle, and it works like a dandy. The friction fit handle lets you effortlessly snap the shaver in and out. Touches up the rest of your body as well. Go to backscape.com. Use the promo code GYB10. 10% off your first order on any of the kits on their website at all. That is Backscape. Stay smooth, gentlemen. Strutting, we're going to dig in on more Game 6 preview talk. But before we do that, we often use Take a Lap to discuss some other things going on around the league. And there's one in particular that you think affects the Oilers a little bit.
Well, yeah, I think that the trades with the goalies yesterday, right? Kemper, we talked a little bit about his trade from Washington to the Kings for PLDB and otherwise known as Pierre-Luc Dubois. And I think that's a big issue for them. Like their goaltending has been, I think it's going to improve. I think Kemper behind that group will be a better goalie than he showed last year. I don't think he's the world's greatest goalie, but I think he's definitely better than he showed last year. And then also, Pierre-Luc Dubois wasn't really doing much for them. So they can now, I think it's like, I want to say 2.5, $3 million somewhere in there. They can put that money somewhere else and try to maybe get a player that can be as effective as PLDB was last year. But I do think that this goaltender, it's a bit of a risk, but I think he's a better goalie than he's shown, buddy.
Yeah, and I think moving on from Dubois was probably required, so good on them for doing it. You could question the wisdom of Washington digging in on that level of risk. This is a player now that's been through multiple organizations, asked out a few times, has yet to meet that potential, based on what we all watch. When we watch him play, we all see what he could potentially be, but he just doesn't seem to get there that often. So a bit of a risk in terms of the number of years left on his deal and whether he's going to reach that potential. And if that feels risky from Washington's side, doesn't it, Struts?
Feels like a desperate move.
Yeah.
Feels like a desperate move. And that I feel like that franchise, it's starting to settle a bit, as far as their incredible run. And the second part is I saw some comments, people said, well, he's going to be motivated. So he's going to be motivated on the fourth team. On the fourth team, he's going to be motivated.
He's gotten his money already, man. Like,
Yeah, I just have, I mean, well, they're saying that he'll be pissed off that he got traded. Well, he's been traded. This is his fourth city. If he wasn't motivated when he was a young player in Columbus or Winnipeg when he was trying to get the deal, or got traded to Kings after he got the deal. So he is so talented. Could be a really, really good player, like a star in this league. And we've seen him play that way, but we don't see it often enough. And this feels like a really, really desperate move by a franchise.
Other one there, your point on Kemper. Any concern that he's gone from 921 to 909 to 890? When he did win with the Colorado Avalanche, he didn't. He wasn't the launch point for that Stanley Cup win, right? That was a hell of a team, and he gave them good goaltending and won. He's getting on in age, 34, I think he is now. The save percentage has been on the decline here, Struds. Like, is he the answer in net? Is he?
I'm willing to take the chance because of the contract I got rid of. He has 3 more years. So let's say he doesn't turn it around this year. You have 2 more years after that. You can bury what is it, like, I want to say 1.5 or whatever million. I'm not sure, whatever the numbers. You can bury some of it, then the rest you're wearing. But that's way less than any kind of a buyout you would have had with, or you could buy him out, I guess, with Pierre-Luc Dubois. So I think you've minimized your exposure to risk by bringing him in. And there's a lot of upside. Like, I do think he's a better goalie than he's shown in Washington.
Okay, let's reset focus here on the Oilers and the Panthers tomorrow night. Interesting question asked to Matthias Ekholm in his time here in Edmonton as we get back to the Weiss Johnson soundbox. What areas he noticed the most improvement?
Sorry, Shocker. I was doing something else. Who are we going to here?
Ekholm, pal.
Gotcha.
I think we've improved in a lot of areas, but I got to go defensively if I want to point. And just the one thing out, I think we're more okay with having play in our D zone and spending time there and not getting frustrated or getting out of place just because we're there for 30, 40 seconds. I think we understand now how important it is to, against these top teams, you're going to play some defense. But at times there's going to be minutes and I guess chunks in games where you just have to play and not cheat the game and not trying to create something that's not there, because that's when they sting you. So I do think we've matured a lot in that department. So if I'll say one thing, I'll go with that.
And we'll have one more clip here, Struds, from Stuart Skinner. I asked him about kind of his team's ability to generate the offense that they've generated, but also still be pretty sound defensively. And quite frankly, I was focused a little bit more on Connor McDavid, Struds, who it's been impressive, man. 8 points in his last 2 games, but the defensive play has been pretty rock solid from McDavid. He hasn't done a lot of cheating. He's broken up a lot of plays on back checks and such. Let's hear from Stuart Skinner quick on his team's defense in front of him.
Been lovely to see. I think we got a lot of guys that are just fully committed to playing on both ends of the ice, which is, to say the least, it's an absolute need, especially this time of year. So really proud of the group, and we got to continue to bring that, even elevate.
Struds, what's your take on 8 points from McDavid, but the defensive game as well?
Well, in reality, defending is a commitment. It's not a skill. It can be a desire, but it's a commitment to doing it. And he and his teammates are doing a much better job at it. And there's going to be breakdowns. There's going to be mistakes. It happens. That's why the game there's goals scored in games. But I think Connor's done a really good job, especially the back checking. Trying to make sure there's no outman rushes, coming right through to the middle of the ice on the back check, like all those types of things, trying to stay on the right side of the puck in his own zone. He's done a lot of good things. And then you have to follow suit. You cannot cheat the game when you're captain and the best player in the world is doing it. So it takes a while to get this mindset. And, just think back to 2 or 3 years ago, the way the Oilers played. We talked about it. They talked about it, but they didn't perform it. They performed it. Can they do it 2 more games? That's ultimately the question.
When you look at the way that McDavid is playing the game right now, and quite frankly, Draisaitl, because while the offense hasn't been there, I think he's shown pretty good attention to detail in his own end here. You compare that back to kind of their first few run-throughs at it, and it was after the Chicago mess that one of the things I said after they lost to Chicago was that, for this team to get to where they want to go, there was going to be, they needed to take a step in their overall two-way games. That learning to play both ends of the ice at a Stanley Cup caliber level was something that these star players were going to have to develop. Spec said it too, maybe a little more aggressively than I did. and people went nuts. People went ballistic. And I recall the vitriol thrown at us for having the gall to suggest that there was room in their overall game and that it was going to be difference making if they could find it. And here we are in a Stanley Cup final, and it's such a huge part of the way he's playing the game every single night. It's really impressive, Struds. And you talked about the things that he's doing defensively, but it's also not flying the zone, not giving into those instincts to, because to generate that kind of offense, most guys got to cheat to be able to do that, but to be resisting those temptations and to stay on the right side of it.
Yeah, and you're right. And it's a process, and what makes you want to do it is when you're humbled because you lose, because your way isn't working.
Great point.
You're it's not working. And I'm not suggesting that Connor Leon are cocky or uncoachable, but when you think you can just do it one way, and you hear the coach, you don't think all the coaches were telling these guys to play this way. But when you get humbled enough times by losses, and not humbled in a way as like they're too cocky, but just, you bend the knee because you've lost, you're like, okay, let's do it the other way. And now they see how it can work, and they've gotten this far. So give them credit, but experience it can be a cruel teacher. And think about, you were in that dressing room after the loss last year to Vegas. How did the guys feel? The post game,
it's been brutal every year. And
it was a funeral. That was the worst one, though. That to me, that was. I from a distance, Shogger, that seemed like the worst one. They were shell shocked. Oh, yeah. So all of a sudden, then you start the year like you did. You don't think you have attention of the coach, or the coach has your attention? 100%. So I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah, great points there, Struds. Last visit to the Weiss Johnson Soundbox, and we'll wrap this up. Connor McDavid talked about a lot of things today, but he's always at his best when he's, giving love to his teammates. So he was asked specifically about the line that Struddy constructed through the engineering of the Henrique trade. Connor McDavid on the third line.
Yeah, they've been fantastic. 5-on-5 and on the kill. All three of those guys are big pieces of the kill. But 5-on-5, as you said, they've been doing a great job going out there against whoever. Whether that's the Barkov line or any other line, they've been fantastic, and that's a big part. Even the fourth line's been great as well. I mean, this time of year to win, you need every single person. We've had guys out of the lineup come in and do a great job, and the guys who are out of the lineup are staying ready, when their time is called. So it's really been a total team effort, to get us to this point.
All right, that was Taking a Lap, brought to you by our good friends over at Backscape. All right, we've had a great crowd on the stream tonight. Lots of awesome comments coming in. We'll wrap up our De Boers poll as well. Steve-O, hop in here, buddy. Although I know we got a malfunction with your video, so you don't get to come in. It's just only voice of Steve tonight.
I know. My apologies to everyone who's looking forward to seeing my face in these podcasts. I know people come Randine does, Shona does. We know that much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're big fans, Steve. They're big fans. He has by far the best voice on the pod, though. Hey, Struds, like Steve's got the pipes, man.
Yeah, but that's why I think his video's not working. So,
yeah, no kidding. All right, Ask Us Anything's brought to you by the Shark of the Park, Rennie Buclan of Maxwell Devonshire Realty. Home is a feeling, one of the biggest investments you'll ever make. Rennie only takes on a select number of clients to give them that more personalized service. Rated the #1 individual agent this past year with her skilled negotiation, 5-star client satisfaction. I've used her. Really, really good. Takes great care of you. You really get the feeling like you're in good hands. Someone that really does care about helping you with one of the biggest decisions you've got to make. Give her a call. 780-994-0280. Steve?
Okay, so the results of the De Boers poll. Biggest X factor coming into Game 6. We said McDavid's continued domination, Skinner staying solid, the third line continuing to roll, or that home crowd energy. So taking the top of the poll with 53% is Skinner staying solid. Next up is McDavid's continued domination at 31%. And then at 9%, we've got the third line continuing to roll, and then 7% for that home crowd energy. So really it comes down to Skinner and McDavid. And there were some write-ins too. A lot of people saying Draisaitl getting on the board and getting moving as well.
Yeah, that'd be a big one for sure. Steve, I just saw a real good comment while you're reading that from Rod Z. I've been lucky to see the last 43 seasons of the Edmonton Oilers. Did not think in my lifetime I would see Gretzky records drop. McDavid gets 3 points and 3 points over the next 2 games. Struds, I mean, do you think they're? I mean, he just got 8-2. What a record that would be to track down, buddy.
It's great. Anytime you're beating a Wayne Gretzky record, it just blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. So, congratulations to him. And every time I doubt that he can do something, he just does it. So,
well, we said it last podcast. Like that performance, those 2 games. He's most likely winning the Conn Smythe here. Which win or lose, I think McDavid probably gets the Conn Smythe. So it'll be fascinating. Steve, go ahead, pal.
Okay, a lot of good ones today. So from Steven. Says, my concern with Cousins drawing in for Florida is I honestly believe that's a signal they plan to play dirty tomorrow night. And James Barrels says, I'm not excited to have Cousins draw in. He's a rat and could alter the game with a rat play. So thoughts, I know we've talked about it a little bit, but just, with more physical, maybe dirty play from the Panthers tomorrow with Cousins drawing in, Struds.
Well, how many minutes are you talking? We're talking 7 minutes here, 6, 7, 8 minutes, somewhere in there, maybe.
What's the over/under on penalty minutes for him tomorrow?
And that's the risk. So he there's always a risk that he's going to take a bad penalty, that he doesn't see the ice again. So listen, I really like Lomberg's game. I thought he came in and provided what he did, but on the road, like when those guys go to the boards, and if there's an icing, guess who's going out right away? McDavid will be lined up for that draw before they even know what the hell hit them. So I think I get he's trying to get a lot of energy, but I can't see it making. I look at the change on the power play as a bigger good move than putting Cousins in on the 4th line.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to segue to the power play then. Ryan Van Spangen says, Draisaitl hasn't won a face-off in almost the entire series on the power play, where we've started with the puck almost 80% of the time before. Clearly, it's a hand issue to Ryan, and that's Ryan Van Spangen. But the question is, why do they keep starting him on the dot, and will they come to a point where they stop on the power play? Put someone else there to start out.
Yeah, I mean, Leon will know. When he doesn't feel he's effective in there, someone else will take draws. He's not going to be stubborn. The games are too big. These are too big. So I don't know if the hand injury is prohibitive right now to him winning draws or not, Struds, but he's not going to be stubborn and go in there if he doesn't give them their best chance.
No, they're trying to win, right? And they're going to, their ego doesn't get in the way of that. Yeah. So no, I'm with you.
Okay, Penner's Pancake says, besides Janmark and Brown, how do you fill out the bottom 6 next year? What is Henrique realistically going to ask for?
You know what? I get it. That's a fun idea. It's a fun idea to go through that, but there's so many things that have to be sorted out to get into that. That's a huge conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to see Henrique back.
Off-season pod.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just honestly, that's too much to bite off. There's just a huge thing to deal with, right?
Yeah, the interesting one for me will be Connor Brown and what that number is, because we all know the money that he made this year and the bonuses next year. What would his number look like heading into next season? I think they would love to have him back, depending on what that dollar figure is, and if it's a bit of a make good over a 2-season average annual salary. I'm not sure, but I'm interested to see Connor Brown and if he remains in the bottom 6. Go ahead.
Shane Matheson asked if can Holland make moves after June 30th or once his contract ends, or can he represent the Oilers at all at that point, or he's just done?
Yeah, no, I mean, he can still, when his contract is up, it's not like he's disqualified by the league from, making moves. I mean, really, it's not Ken Holland on the phone executing a trade. Bill Scott gets on the phone, and he's the one that executes it with Central Registry. He's the one that runs through the paperwork and all that stuff. So, like if they say to Ken Holland, hey, you want to hang around until the 10th through the draft and free agency. I don't know exactly what day his contract ends, but I don't think there would be anything prohibitive there. We didn't really get into a big discussion on the general manager position either. Maybe we'll save that for a different night. Not 100% sure what's going on there, Struds, but they're going to have to get something done reasonably quick, because my sense is it's not going to be Ken Holland returning on a short-term deal. There'll be a new person in place.
Okay, Gabriella C. says, I think the Oilers have the edge in winning the series based on the fact that they're winning the special teams battles so far in this series, and that's such a big part of winning a championship. So obviously we know that, but just thoughts on continuing that special teams success and the importance of that tomorrow night, as Gabriella alludes to.
They did a good job on the specialty teams in the first couple of games, at least the penalty kill. but Bobrovsky was better than their specialty teams. So I think that Bobrovsky, you don't think he can pitch one really good game these next two? There's a lot of things that could sting up the Oilers on the other side. Verhaeghe, Tkachuk, Bobrovsky, their power play is no slouch. Like you have one off night in the power play. So you said they're 15 for 16 on the penalty kill, Sugar. They could end up, tomorrow, let's say there's 3, and they end up, what would that make it? 16 for 19, but they gave up 2 goals in the final game. And Bobrovsky plays well.
Crazy.
Good
Your
night,
penalty kills +1.
I know, but what I'm saying is that they can have one, off night and you lose a Stanley Cup. Like that's
right. Yeah.
That's how razor thin this is, guys. It's so tight. It's so tight.
2 more, Steve-O.
Okay. So Opop says the Oilers need to find a way to get Costin back this offseason. A 6th rounder can get a team to eat $1 million of his contract for sure. That would be fun to get Costin back in the offseason.
The fascination with good old clean Costin in Oiler Nation history. He was a fan favorite. I don't blame fans for wanting him back. Where do you think he would factor in if he were on this team
right now?
Would he be in the lineup?
Man, I don't. Probably not. It may be him and McLeod probably fighting it over, right? Because Klim doing something a lot different, and he can score. I have a hard time. Would he have gotten some games with the Draisaitl? Maybe everyone else did. But Klim, I'm telling you guys, I told you he made the mistake. He went for
you
the
did
cash.
Call that ahead of time. You said, "Here's what I think he should do," and then he did not do that, and it has not worked.
I hate to be right, but that was an easy one.
Okay.
All right, Steve, last one, buddy.
Okay, so Abby Hoffman says the Oilers need to feed off that home crowd tomorrow night, and I think they will.
Yes.
I wanted to know from you guys, especially Struds, is there a moment you remember, Struds, where that home crowd just took you by surprise, maybe made you feel nervous, excited, filled you up with energy, whatever it is?
Yeah, when I played the Rangers, we had amazing crowds there. Not that I didn't have other stops, but I just remember the Rangers. It was so loud, and they were funny. They wanted work. They loved work, and I remember them cheering and standing ovations when he'd kill a penalty, in a big moment. And I love that feeling, and that's what I was part of. So I remember that obviously more than anything else. But that moment, I think for tomorrow, the fans will be fired up. But the Oilers have been through this so many times, and it's going to be great to have the fans, and we love that atmosphere. But I think the Oilers understand that it's going to be tomorrow's going to be a tough game, really tough.
Yeah, that building is going to be electric. I've said it before. The building is at its best when the Oilers have come back from a road trip where they went on the road and accomplished something while they were away, and fans get to welcome them back and show their appreciation for what the last game meant in their welcome back. It's going to be roof coming off. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a really, really cool environment tomorrow night. And Oiler fans, your last game of the season that you can go and watch live in person. So they will be bringing the noise. That was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Rini Buclan. Time for our gem of the day as we wrap things up. Brought to you by Play Alberta. Boosting your odds, enhancing your parlays on all playoff games. Every bet on any game enters you a draw into win season seats for the 24-25 season, or 5 pairs of seats to 5 separate Oiler games for next season. Use the promo code GYB50 when you deposit at playalberta.ca to receive a $50 free sports bet. Bonus terms and conditions apply. As always, know your limits, play responsibly, and stay within them. Struddy, what do we got for our play of the day?
No context needed in this at all. And I quote, "This is a trap game for the Oilers." Ryan Rishaug.
Yeah. I'll eat that.
No
one.
context at all.
Yeah, I used it wrong. I did. I sounded like a dummy. Okay, but that's why I love this show, Struddy, because I can count on my big brothers to keep me honest if I get myself out of line, buddy.
Brownie texts me to use that one.
Did he really? Piss off. Go to bed, Brownie. Go to bed. I love it. Fair enough, man. I deserve that one. It's a trap. All right, folks. Thank you so much. Fun stuff. Really looking forward to the post-game pod tomorrow night. Don't know what's going to happen, but, man, we're going to be there to talk about it. Great numbers on the stream. We really appreciate it. And for those of you that download, listen in podcast form, we love you. Thanks for coming along for this ride here on Got Your Back. And a big thanks to our all of our sponsors and our title sponsor, Sherwood Buick GMC. Enjoy the moment tomorrow night, Oiler fans. It's going to be something, and we will be here. We got your back. We'll be breaking it all down post-game. Have a good night.